Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today? Well, we woke up to something like that, President Trump blocked for new tariffs. What a surprise. I actually was very, very, very surprised, to be honest with everyone, because I never expected that to happen, to be honest. And the funniest part is that the US federal court blocked Trump's tariff measures. We're going to get, in depth in a few minutes, but it's kind of cool to see that just now, after pretty much a year, well, not a year, let's say 7 months, 8 months, someone brought to attention, oh, wait a minute, is that legal, what he's doing? Or is that illegal? Well, let's have a look here on the legislation. And then 3 judges from New York came up together and they're like, oh, it's illegal. So why he's doing that? And then Trump sort of tried to get back to it, saying that, no, it's legal because of this, and that. But the judges ended up saying, no, it's illegal and you're going to have to stop. So we're going to have a look on that soon. Also, the market gets back to risk on with all of these tariff measures being blocked now. We're going to know the reason pretty soon. Should we go long on gold or should we go short? What should we do or shouldn't we do anything? Lots of questions around that because the market was a little bit of a risk. I would say it was neutral this week, but then we had the risk off last week. Yeah, pretty much risk off last week. Risk on the week before. And now we're sort of moving into I would say risk on mood. And that is, making gold to go short. So we very bearish gold in a sense. So should we go long? Well, maybe with a discounted price would be a good opportunity. Will of that be bullish for the US dollar? Because we've seen some of the currencies like US dollar, Japanese yen, for instance, very, very bullish. We saw some other currencies like US dollar CAD, very, very bullish. So euro dollar, well, it didn't change much, but still, had a little bit of down move. New Zealand dollar against the US dollar, it was, wow, that was a big jump as well. So how will that change the view? Shall we take this opportunity to be looking to short the US dollar or go with the flow? Okay, so there's a few things we're going to be talking today, mainly discussing about the first topic. The last 3 topics are, I'm not going to get much into depth in a sense, but of course we're going to be talking a little bit about. So it's going to be pretty cool today. Let me just check here. So we don't have anyone new. That's okay. So you know the drill. If you have any questions, put into the chat, and also make some time to read those questions. I will be able to answer you if I have an answer. Sometimes I don't have answers as well. Cool. But before we go any further, risk disclaimer time. So I need to put the risk disclaimer, leave it there for a minute or two. You guys go through it, read it, and then once I get back, we can start. But yeah, as I say, today is going to be pretty hectic. So get ready, everyone. All right, cool. So let's get back to it. Let me just take this off. Perfect. All right, so first thing, US federal court blocked Trump tariff measures. When I woke up this morning, market didn't have any sort of anticipation of that. A few minutes afterwards, the opening at 9 a.m. in Australia, market makers get to trading floor at 9, but stock exchange opens at 10:30 a.m. So at 9, around 9:20, around 9:20, 9:30, we had that news coming in. So U.S. Trade Federal Court blocked Trump's tariff measures. Um, that was a surprise, okay, because I guess no one, as I say, no one was expecting that, and no one actually I'm not saying that no one questioned it if that was legal or illegal from a bottom perspective, but from a top, from a institutional point of view, in terms of the administration of just trying to think the word of Trump. Uh, no one thought about, okay, what we're doing is illegal. Well, they most likely knew it, but they just found some cracks on the laws and then passed through the crack. But U.S. Trade Court blocks Trump's sweeping tariffs in blow to trade policies. U.S. Federal Court blocks Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs. U.S. Federal Court blocks Trump sweeping tariffs. Federal Court blocks Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs on an emergency power law. And that's where I want to get. So what Trump was doing is he was using the power law, so the EPL, so the emergency power law, to say that that was an emergency to put tariffs in another country. But then when those judges got together, they were like, he can't do this because it's not an emergency. It's not a threatening to the country. So basically what Trump was doing is illegal. Could he get jail for it? Good question. Not too sure about it. So I'm going to open a few articles here. We're going to go through. And I want to show everyone pretty quick on what I mean by that. Oh, they have a donate button. Right, so a federal court on Wednesday, for us it's Thursday already, but a federal court on Wednesday blocked President Donald Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs on imports under an emergency powers law. So if we look up for that, well, USA, because I'm in Australia. So in the USA, emergency powers refers to authority granted to the executive branch to take actions outside the normal bounds of the power during times of crisis. So that's the thing. So it's during time of crisis. But US is not into a crisis, a time of crisis. Okay. And for this, he need to declare a national emergency. He didn't. Okay. And that has to be approved by the Congress. So lots of things wrong already on what was been doing. So swiftly throwing doubt Trump's signature set of economic policies that have rattled global financial markets. In my opinion, looking at now, it's very, very likely that Trump was using it more to be a manipulation to the market than any other thing. Okay. Let me just get out of my Zoom, guys. Just a second. Otherwise, it will be popping up messages here. Sorry. Oopsie. There you go. All right. Let me just share this screen back. Screen. All right. Should be sharing. Rattle global financial markets, frustrated trade partners, and raise broader fears about inflation intensifying and the economy slumping. The ruling from three-judge panel at the New York-based U.S. Court of International Trade came after several lawsuits arguing Trump's Liberation Day tariffs exceeded his authority and left the country trade policy dependent on his whims. I completely agree with that, okay? The whole economy, the whole country was literally on his hands. The whole financial market was on his hands. Whatever he said, market moves. Whatever he was supposed to say, market moves. Okay, so it was quite a tough one because they had lots and lots of things to to be discussed, and literally how did they, oh, okay, the guy's doing this, we don't even know how is that possible. Okay, so that's my question about all of those things that have been happening, and I really don't know. But anyways, the ruling, so I've said that already. So Trump has repeatedly said that the tariffs would force manufacturers to bring back factory jobs to the US and generate enough revenue to reduce federal budget deficits. He used the tariffs as a negotiating cudgel in hopes of forcing other nations to negotiate agreements that force the US, suggesting he would simply set the rates himself if the terms were unsatisfactory. Okay, so that's exactly what he was doing. White House spokesperson Kush Desai said, spokesperson Kush Desai say that trade deficits amount to a national emergency that has decimated American communities, left our workers behind, and weakened all defense industry base. Facts that the court did not dispute. So we could go through literally everything here. It's a lot of things. If you guys want to go through, you can actually go. But let me just take this off. Mostly what I want to say is this guy was committing a crime and no one was questioning him. Okay, so I really don't know how we're gonna go with that, because it's a problem. I guess Trump. Of course, I don't want to be political here, but I just want to try to show what has really happened. I think Trump has had this in mind for quite a while already, and that since he sort of knew that once he put all the tariffs up and everything else, he could do whatever he wants with the market price, right? So yeah, it's a tough one. I guess we all fall in love with the rhetoric of him bringing business to US, etc. That didn't happen. That was really not the case. Okay. But anyways, so what I think it can happen? Well, lots of things can happen from now. Okay. Mainly, what I'm waiting for is for Trump administration to say anything, because they haven't yet, until far as I know, they haven't yet manifested themselves. When that happens, I guess we will have some more concrete base of what could potentially go on with the market, because he's blocked. He can't do any tariffs anymore. Okay. And then we go for the second topic. That is, the market gets back to risk on. So if we look at a few currencies, let me just come here. That's a nice image. Let's put this into 1 hour. Let's say US dollar CAD. So US dollar CAD was kind of bullish. Okay. Well, the whole US dollar was. Let me just grab it here. So we're trading above 100 again. Okay. So we're trading above 100. 100. See? not 1,000. Cool. So we're trading above 100 again. As I always say, market don't like gaps. So what will happen is we're gonna come and then we're gonna close this gap here. It can be today, it can be tomorrow, it can be, next week, whatever. But the market will come and close the gap. So with that, we've seen that market is back to risk, because even if we look to, let's say, Australian dollar against Japanese yen, that is a risk-off currency, it went up. Okay. If we look to New Zealand dollar against Japanese yen, it went up again. If we look to Euro AUD, that was the trade that we catch it yesterday, it went down. Okay. If we look to pound Aussie, that the trade we caught yesterday as well, it went down. So, lots of things. And even if we look gold, there you go. Gold is going back down. Oopsie. So gold has been going back down as well. So what potentially could happen is a continuation down, maybe. We have to watch for the market sentiment. All right. Otherwise, if the market sentiment changes, if Trump comes and says something really great, that he, that will make market sort of think he's how can I say that he's right, okay, and that the federal court for some reason is wrong. I don't doubt about that, but anyways, I don't doubt. I mean, Trump coming and say that the federal court is wrong, he can probably reverse the market again and get the power back to him. I find it very cool because what it looks like, it's I'm with the power to control, and now the central bank has the power. No, now it's me. Now it's them. Now it's me. It's basically a kids fight to see who can get the playful thing, who can get the what's the name, the kid to play around. Okay, so and that little toy, the toy is the market, and that's what Trump has been doing. So I just want to be more, more emphasizing today about that. So let's move on to the next topic. So should we long gold? In my opinion, no, at the moment. Okay, because as we know, market is risk on. So that tends to favor short positions on gold. Not saying that market can go and, drop like hugely. Sorry. But maybe we can go to 3,200. Okay. Maybe we can come to 3,200. And with that, then we should analyze what's the potential for trading that. Because remember, if we look into a daily basis, gold has been up quite a while. Okay. No really big pullbacks. I think the biggest pullbacks, that's a daily chart. So it was on here. So that's like 22%. And then this one here is somewhere around 12%, 10% less. And then this one, 10%, 2% less. And then the last one was here, 7, and then 11. So yeah, I reckon we could potentially go to 3,200 into gold, and then maybe, who knows, back up to 3,600. Okay. So back up to 3,600 would be a good, maybe a good profit target, a good TP. Jesus, my English is not working today. So yeah, so once that comes here, we would have to analyze. But long now, maybe if you're doing dollar averaging cost, DCA, so dollar cost averaging, it would be a good one. But don't forget that you can probably get upside. You can probably get exposed to all of this upside move until it goes higher. Okay, so that's pretty much it on gold. Next one is, will of that be bullish for the US dollar? Well, it all depends. Okay, because US dollar is not a risk on currency. US dollar is a risk off currency. But people will still get confused because it is a risk off currency, but there is how can I say, there is a chance of a potential of capital flows flowing into the US dollar for safe haven. Okay, so well, it could happen that the US dollar was going to strengthen, and then for that reason, so nearly closing the gap, and then for that reason, we could see euro dollar continue to fall. Okay, so this up move here would be a good move to short. Okay, to continue to short that, or could even see, where is the US dollar Japanese yen? We could even see US dollar Japanese yen coming back. Okay. So if that happens, then I know that most likely what will happen is a lot of currencies from risk off will get flow. Okay. And there will be, will get outflow, sorry, and they will be exposed to downside risks. And with that being said, maybe US dollar Japanese yen is still continue to be a good short. Okay, and it just depends how long you want to hold that trade for, because if we look back, we're on a very good area to short it. Okay, somewhere around here, 147. Very good area to short. So and bring those shorts into 138. So it's interesting. I would wait and see for further confirmation. Okay. I would definitely wait and see for further confirmation. For now, we may have something. As I say, we need to wait for Trump. We need to see how he's going to do. All right, one more topic I want to chat about is the New Zealand dollar. Okay, we saw the New Zealand dollar being quite range bound this week. Let me just go for the 1 hour. Yeah, okay. So we start the week on the 24th. Right here. All right. So it was kind of range bounding from here to there. Nothing much happened. So we had the RBNZ decision when that was happening here. And after that, this move down, we had a huge move up, and then since consolidation. I guess NZD US dollar is a good long. Okay. From what I've seen, Sorry, it's a good short. From what I've been looking at, the New Zealand dollar has been quite interesting in a sense. The RBNZ continue to reduce the rates. Okay, and if that happens, of course, market is expecting already. So there is a chance of the weakness of the New Zealand dollar persist. Okay, with that being said, maybe not against the US dollar. Okay, maybe NZD Japanese yen would be preferably. So NZD Japanese yen. So NZD JPY would be preferably a good short. If in this scenario, well, that's a tough thing because in scenarios like that, I still prefer to maintain long only positions into safe haven currencies. We never know what can probably happen tomorrow. So having that certainty, let's say, of if something happens, I have some positions into safe haven currencies that can go potentially correct on my way. Otherwise, it would be kind of hard. Okay. Barry sent a question: long Aussie New Zealand. Oof, that's a very very tricky one because Aussie New Zealand is kind of a it's very similar to each other. Okay, very very similar. I would reckon a short position on here. I think the RBNZ it's a little bit more stronger than the RBA. Okay. Yeah, I guess a short position would be better. Um, the RBNZ, so that's exactly what I've been saying. The RBA is unsure of what they will do, as of the RBNZ already knows that they will continue to cut the rates. So, in my opinion, that is hawkish in a sense. Okay. Yeah, I guess Aussie New Zealand would be looking to go short and not long. Maybe it can go a little bit higher and then continue to go down. Okay. Cool. All right. So we've talked pretty much about everything. Today is a little bit more quick, from usual. We don't have much to talk, to be very honest with everyone. I was just looking ahead to chat with everyone about the U.S. federal court blocking Trump. It's kind of funny, but it is what it is, right? We can't do much in those days. It's one day something, another day is another thing, and it goes like that. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for everyone to come in today. We'll be back on when is that? On Tuesday. So next Tuesday I will be live, same time, 4 to 5. Same thing. We send the link into the Telegram, and we'll be here every day on the YouTube videos. Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Take care and take some time to study and evaluate your risks. We should be back on next Monday, 100%. Thank you all. Bye bye.